Right, shalom, shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Machak, with double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, shalom, Yasharal, shalom. All right, gonna get into this little article or video here from the People's Voice. It says, Bill Gates develops tech to force poke humanity with bird flugazi M-runner with or without consent. I think that's about as good as we're going to get with that one. You see it on the screen. All right, we know how he is. Okay, it's, more so on YouTube. But yeah, so it says Bill Gates develops tech to force poke humanity with bird flugazi M-runner with or without consent. So it says, according to his inner circle, Gates believes he's discovered the ultimate solution to Vicky. I guess you use that. And we'll say to vacuum every single person on the planet, whether they consent or not. All right. His weapon of choice, a new bird flugazi vacuum powered by M-runner technology, a so-called miracle that critics warn could bring about mass depopulation and leave humanity enslaved by a ruthless global elite. And since there's a video, what we'll do is says, but how does Gates plan to deliver this controversial vacuum to a world where trust in him is at an all-time low? And more disturbingly, how advanced is this plan? So since there's a video, I'm pretty sure the article, instead of reading the article, we'll just play the video, because he's basically going to talk about the same thing we're going to read. So there's no need to read it if we can just see if we can get this guy blown up. Here we go. Yep, on the screen. And we'll run it like that. So let's go and push play.
According to his inner circle, Bill Gates believes he's discovered the ultimate solution to vaccinate every single person on the planet, whether they consent or not.
And this ain't no medical information and anything like that. All right, not teaching you or talking about health or, all right, just simply going to an article. That's all this is.
His weapon of choice? A new bird flu vaccine powered by mRNA technology, a so-called miracle that critics warn could bring about mass depopulation and leave humanity enslaved by a ruthless global elite. But how does Gates plan to deliver this controversial vaccine to a world where trust in him is at an all-time low? And more disturbingly, how advanced is this plan? This video contains critical information that must be digested and shared far and wide, so we can stop their evil plans in their tracks. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community disturbing video last Thursday titled, "The Time to Move Forward is Now." The video features Americans of all ages wearing masks. If you're still unsure what the global elite are planning for your immediate future, just watch this dystopian video. The future they're pushing for is masks, mandates, 50-minute cities, and the death of freedom. It's a vision of totalitarian control, just as Orwell warned. A globalist jackboot stomping on humanity's face forever.
Hold on, give me a second here, cause let me pull this down, cause I'm just thinking about is that in Ecclesiastes? Let me see here. Bear with me. So I can pull up a book real quick. All right, first thing they put on the screen. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. I can't remember what chapter it's in, but I know it's in Ecclesiastes. All right. It's like 7, 8, 5, 7, 8. I don't know. I have to poke around for it. Let's see. Not 7. Let's check 8. Check 5. As a matter of fact, I probably could have just punched it up. As a matter of fact, let me just put a time. It's one of these chapters here. I know what I'm looking for. I just don't know which chapter it is. It's one somewhere around here in Ecclesiastes. All right, here it is, chapter 2. We'll pull up the chapter. Ecclesiastes, I'm sorry, not chapter 2, but chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I was looking at verse 2, I believe. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. All right, which is basically a harvest, right? It says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. And we're in that time right now, the top portion of the scripture. A time to kill. All right, we're in a time period of judgment. All right. And then it says a time to heal. And that's going to come when salvation comes. It says a time to break down. And what are we breaking down? Ultimately, these strongholds that the Lord, allow the left-hand side to have over this earth. All right. All the lies. All right. And ultimately chant down Babylon the Great. And a time to build up. And what will we build up? The kingdom of heaven. All right. Starting with, slave labor, beginning with Esau, Edom. It says a time to weep and a time to laugh. And we're in a time of weeping, mourning right now. All right. Not in a time of laughter, but you see the earth, including the 2/3, because they're not separated from the rest of the people on the earth. They're in a time period of laughing and still, doing after their own, their pleasures. A time to mourn, as we just mentioned, and a time to dance. We can dance all we want in the kingdom. Right now is not a time to be dancing. All right. You even have Israelites doing all this kind of nonsense during their Passovers. The Passover was a time of mourning. What are you doing? Like, I mean, come on, man. And it shows a lack of fear of Yahweh, I guess. But I guess if you follow a false name, of course you don't fear him. All right. Because if you follow Yahweh while Yahweh Shai, you fear. Okay. I guess we'll read a few more. It says a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to, when you talk about embracing people, all right, we're supposed to be separate from this world, all right? Separated from the people of this world. And time now that means you neglect, your family or family members or children or whatever, but, there's a great separation when it comes to the Lord or your family. The Lord comes first. Doesn't mean neglect your family, just means, do what you got to do, but never forget that the Lord is first, always, all right? That first love. A time to get and a time to lose. And many of us are going to, I'm not going to say many of us, because we're okay, all right? We're ready to see this shutdown happen, be able to go off the grid, no more working, all right, stressed out, and so on and so forth. But there are going to be many people who are going to lose out, all right, and fall to the system because they're all about getting. They're complaining about society and want to get more so they can continue surviving, not knowing what the will of the Lord is. It's to destroy the society in this whole place. And it's time to lose. So when it comes for that time of losing, they're going to lose out because they're going to fall under the weight of the system. It says a time to keep and a time to cast away. Yeah, we have things now. Even when you own something, you still got to pay taxes on it. All right. Car paid off, you still got to pay all kinds of things. All right, that refer to the car, and then on top of that, you gotta pay for maintenance from time to time, and it takes money to keep gas in the car. All right, so it's really another bill. Okay, just like any other thing. But anyways, there's gonna when we become pilgrims, we're not gonna be worried about those things. All right, we're gonna be as the brother would say, kingdom minded, man. Okay, focused on what the mission is. All right, knowing what the will of the Lord is, and we're not gonna care about losing these worldly items because we know what's to come is a lot more greater than any worldly possession. Our greatest thing that we have in our possession is going to, just almost be non-existent to, the blessings of the kingdom of heaven, man. A time to reign and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate. And we're in a time of hate, man. All right, we will love one another, the hopeful like remnant, but as far as the rest of the world, they hate everybody. And the main target is eventually going to be us of the ministry. A time of war and a time of peace. And that's where we are right now, in a time of war. Because the time of peace will come when the kingdom of heaven is established. All right? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right? So let's go back. Hold on. As a matter of fact, let's get down to verse 11. It says, what profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboreth? I have seen the travail which the Most High hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that the Most High maketh from the beginning to the end. And we're speaking about the end. We're at the end of the last age of all the heathens. All right. We're in the end of the age of Esau. Okay. Well, right before the kingdom of heaven is going to be established, man. All right. So let's keep going. And the water you have a shah, for those extra scriptures there, because I wasn't even thinking. It just popped up. And Lord, will you be edified? Let's keep going. But reading this, you see why, the scriptures came to mind, right? They tell you love, grow, do this, do that, all with a bunch of masks on their faces. How's that peace? How's that happen? I gotta live in a kingdom where I gotta run around with a mask on my face for 9 months out of the 12-month year. Come on, man. The time to move forward is now.
Why would they release a video featuring masked Americans in 2025? Don't forget, the Gates Foundation virologist Dr. Peter Hotez warned, or should I say threatened, that the elites have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January the 21st.
Here's the reason why we need to care about this stuff, Nicole, is that we have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5N1. That I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human-to-human transmission yet, but that could happen. It's in the cattle, it's in the milk, and that's just the beginning. We have another major coronavirus likely brewing.
If you're wondering what
speaking on the we'll call it Noro vacuum, okay? Which the Noro vacuum and the HP V something like that. HP NV. I forget exactly how it's worded, but those two are two different things, all right? You have the Noro, all right, vacuum, and then you have the HP NV or whatever it's called, all right? Basically, human neuro something, I forget, but basically, human straightforward meta dealing with a change in something, and pneumo or basically anything has to do with respiratory or lungs, all right? So that's what it affects, all right? And the neural vacuum affects something different in your system than the than the meta, all right? So we have two different things going on, all right? Which the Lord said would happen, all right? I'm thinking. Where is that? Well, just a matter of fact, we can get this. We'll just put pestilence, not pesticide. Pestilence. There we go. See what comes up. I noticed something in the new. As a matter of fact, let me do that. I believe there's things in the Apocrypha as well. So I'm gonna go to the New Testament. Yeah, here we go. 2 Esdras 15:49. I will send plagues upon thee: widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Excuse me. Let's do this. Let's see what comes up with pestilence. Bear with it. It says a fatal epidemic disease, especially bubonic plague. All right. And so one of these two could, just very well be the next thing leading up to another lockdown. All right. Let me go back here. Let me modify this to the new. See what comes up there. Oh, nothing comes up there. So how's it worded in? Let me go over here myself then. Because it must be worded different from how I'm thinking in Matthew 24, Luke 21. Let's just jump over there real quick. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, it's right here. I guess I don't even know. Whatever. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And the Lord reassured that that all these are the beginning of sorrows. These things are the beginning of the opening of Jacob's trouble, man. because everything's not fully rolled out. Well, there's just chaos everywhere. But these are, like you have, a concert with different people performing. You have the opening act, all right? Someone who, open up for the main band or whatever the case may be. These things are the opening acts to Jacob's Trouble, all right? And then it goes on, because this is what we also mentioned. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Why? Because we're telling the truth. We're speaking about this place. And so they're going to put the stigma on us. They're going to put the lie on us, on the ministry, that they're the reason behind this and this and that, and this attack, and being terrorist, and so on and so forth. All right? And then shall many be offended. And they're going to jump right on the bandwagon against us. A major portion of that is going to be our own people, Israelites. And shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Okay? And it also goes to, hey, even inside the ministry, you're going to have those who faking the funk, all right, or get afraid and turn tail. And that's not a good feeling, man, okay? Pretty sure most of, if not all of us, have had that happen before. The feeling of somebody betraying you and turning on you and joining up with the enemy. It's not a good feeling, all right? And it wells up a mighty hatred inside of you, man, okay? And we can, as a matter of fact, let's get the next two. It says that many false prophets shall arise. We see that happen. These are all things part of the gospel, right? Which is why we don't get, all, bundled up about it, all right? Because we know these things are all part of the gospel, man. And it says, and shall deceive many. That's happening. It says that because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, all right? And waxing cold goes into being a cycle, man. So these people are going to bug out. And a major part of their bugging out is going to be against us of the ministry, man. So let's keep going. Back on point with this, we kind of going another direction there, but hey, John 3:8, right?
What the big picture stuff coming down the pike from Gates Foundation looks like, let me break it down for you. First, you need to understand that Gates is in a desperate position, and for good reason. For decades, he wielded his immense wealth to buy power and influence, corrupting governments and institutions with shocking ease. But in recent years, the unelected global health czar pushed too far, crossing lines that even his allies couldn't ignore. Millions have paid the price for his greed, and now his evil deeds are catching up with him.
Given billions for vaccines and save millions of lives, if you just kind of invert that and say, no, we're trying to make money from vaccines and not trying to save lives, that's a popular conspiracy theory.
You've invested $10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades, and you figured out the return on investment for that. And it kind of stunned me. Can you walk us through the math?
Over a 20-to-1 return. So if you just look at the economic benefits, that's a pretty strong number compared to anything else. We're trying to make money from vaccines, and that's a popular conspiracy theory. Over a 20-to-1 return.
In the Netherlands, Gates is facing trial, scrambling to deploy every trick and legal maneuver to avoid accountability for what prosecutors say were deadly lies about the COVID vaccines that were responsible for countless body bags. Meanwhile, in Kenya, the High Court has stripped him of legal and diplomatic immunity, paving the way for a major criminal case that they believe will blow the lid off the horrifying results of his vaccine trials. The walls are closing in, and Gates' empire of control is finally beginning to crack. And this is precisely why Gates is so
And still the question has not been answered. Why is this guy all over here, doing things in the so-called medical field, man? Like, what are you doing, man? I mean, we know, but, it's a rhetorical question, but you get it.
Desperate to push his bird flu mRNA vaccine onto the global population, whether they consent or not. Dr. Robert Malone, the inventor of mRNA turned whistleblower, warns that Gates is obsessed with forced vaccination of the world, and he has invested billions in this evil work.
In Belgium, I was asked the converse of your question, could RNA vaccine technology be made safe? And my response to the interviewer was, well, if pigs had wings, they might be able to fly. We're speculating about whether it might be possible at some point in time to modify this tech in order to make it transmissible. Now, is there any precedent for why that might be considered desirable by the, let's say, funding community? And the answer is yes. So my whole career, for most of my career, Charlie Arntzen at the University of Arizona was advocating for edible vaccines. And these are often considered as edible. He used to be promoting the idea that we would engineer bananas.
to make.
I was just about to. I wanted him to keep going and see where he was going with it, but I was just about to say, because he said edible vacuums. Well, couldn't they just? I mean, you have GMOs, right? Just put it into foods, right? And so, man, like, and see, this is the thing with the 2/3, man. They don't get it, man. They don't get it, man. Without the Lord, we are done for. All right. He said he will shorten the time for the elect's sake, but even so, the hopeful elect remnant, we still gotta be here. He says we will eat our food defiled amongst the Gentiles. So if they would put their vacuum, all right, into the foods in which we also have to consume, even though we may know the truth. How do we make it? It's through the mercy of the Lord, man. All right, which is why you should be constantly praying over everything that you eat. Doesn't matter if it's a major meal or a minor meal. All right, a drink even. Okay, I might go and get a smoothie. All right, from the smoothie shop, or hit EC Ice and go get me a bowl or something. Okay, and I'm still praying over that. Okay, because at the end of the day, we know all of our food, whether it be meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, whatever, it has to go through the devil, all right, in order to get into our kitchen tables or whatever the case may be, man. All right, so we got to be praying over our food, man.
Make them a edible vaccine. People have talked about this for years and years and years. There's been, I'm sure, hundreds of millions of dollars poured into this. And yet we don't have any edible vaccines. Why not? Well, there's this fundamental problem called the gut. And it's designed to break down peptides and proteins so that we can absorb them. And it turns out to be really hard to make products that will pass through your stomach and your stomach acid and still maintain biologic activity when they get down into your distant intestine.
And this goes to back up the scripture where it says that he accomplishes a diligent search. Okay? Because what they do is they search out ways to destroy the human body, man. All right? And they are honestly amazed at how we Israelites are still here, because it's what's written in the scriptures, man. The story is not written for us to be destroyed by the enemy. All right? It's been for us to get deliverance from the enemy. Okay? So all the things they've done over all these centuries, all these, we'll say, recipes they've cooked up in their secret kitchens. You got to know what I'm saying when I say that, all right? And they're not working, okay? I mean, of course, they're getting some of us, but we mean because they're attempting to wipe us completely out, and it's not working. Why are they still here? Why are they still multiplying, okay? Why can't we wipe them completely out? Because that's not what the will of the Lord is, all right?
And so all of the hope and fear around edible vaccines so far has not come to pass. Could it be enabled using a genetic therapy-based approach? Absolutely could be done. And could that be implemented by folks that desire to have infectious vaccines? Well, this is something that Bill Gates is promoting. The idea that we would have a vaccine that could just be administered and you would get that vaccine whether you wanted to or not. This surreptitious possibility that there might be transmissible, and let's call it what it is.
And this vacuum is one thing, but the MOTB will be another, all right? Whether you want to or not, they're going to try to force it upon you. And if you don't want to take it, all right, that's when they're going to say, all right, you're out from society. Now, we don't know how that's going to go. All right, some may be taken away to these camps, and some may just be, left, in the world or whatever. We don't really know how things are going to play out, okay? But we know 12/12 is coming, all right? I think you know what I mean when I say 12/12, all right? 12/12 is coming. But hey, when 12/12 comes, 59 and 19 comes, okay? So we need 12/12 for 59 and 19, all right?
We're talking about a gene therapy of which vaccination is just one potential indication. Is it possible that the food supply could be modified to administer such? Absolutely.
Given his precarious legal situation, Gates sees no other choice but to go all in. If he succeeds, the majority of the world's population could be wiped out, leaving the survivors enslaved under globalist control. This is what Gates going all in looks like. Gates-funded scientists in the Netherlands have spent millions of dollars of Gates' grant money to develop mosquito-delivered vaccines and GMO parasites. Turns out Gates wasn't joking when he released mosquitoes in an auditorium and let them fly around telling the audience there's no reason only poor people should be infected.
We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
For years, the media have been...
And it's crazy how they sat there and laughed. It shows you how stupid people are, man. Like, what the hell is this dude doing? Well, instead, they laugh.
over backward to debunk claims that Bill Gates has been developing bioengineered viruses, vaccines, and GMO mosquitoes designed to deliver them to humans without consent.
And it's pretty slick how it says no reason why only poor people should have the experience. So come on, man. If he's not a devil, all right, you gotta show me the little red man with horns that you're looking for under the earth, man. Because if he ain't it, all right, and he's not the only one. I'm just mentioning him because he's the object of the topic, right? Or not slightly the topic.
Now, they've been exposed as never before. And we've got the details after this important message from our sponsor.
No, we don't. Let me get this. See if we can jump.
Make viruses exponentially more dangerous.
See if we can back up just a little bit.
7-0 to take advantage of this fantastic offer.
Stuff.
A leading peer-reviewed medical journal has quietly confirmed what so-called conspiracy theorists have long suspected about Gates' activities. In a disturbing study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, Gates-funded scientists at the Leiden University Medical Center developed mosquitoes capable of injecting humans with bioengineered malaria.
It says safety and efficacy of immunization with a late liver stage attenuated malaria parasite.
Causing parasites. Just as gain-of-function research is designed to make viruses exponentially more dangerous, Gates' experiments haven't aimed to make mosquitoes harmless, but rather to turn them into carriers of even more diseases. Dr. Peter McCullough explains more.
The whole country is plagued by mosquitoes, by and large. They carry...
All right, bear with it.
Breaking news. The national debt has...
diseases like malaria, yellow fever, dengue fever, West Nile virus, which we have in Dallas. And the direction of this mosquito vaccine research is not directed at the mosquitoes themselves. So if the mosquitoes were made more benign, that would be terrific. But the direction has been to actually alter the diseases that they carry. And then once that disease is genetically altered, the mosquitoes act like a vaccine syringe and then inject that modified parasite.
And so, do you see how demonic that is, man? Okay, because if we can't get everyone to agree, all right, with our vacuum, what we'll do is force it on them by way of our, experimental mosquitoes or whatever. And mosquitoes are not the only thing they can have this do, but mosquitoes are an easy way of cloaking the agenda. Now, I'm not saying they can do this to the whole earth, because you have to, release, tons of them, in different areas, all right? I guess, it's starting to happen right now. A lot of people start to get worried. Just mosquitoes are randomly popping up in everybody's area, all right, all at the same time. But you get the point, though, okay? But if we can get, a few people, taken care of, then maybe, whatever their thought train is. We know these people are not too bright, all right? You think they're smart, but they're not really smart at all, okay? It's just them doing what the Lord is allowing them to do on the left-hand side. But yeah, man, using the mosquitoes to act as the epic, DE-armic, all right? I mean, there's no really other way to say it. You should understand what I'm saying, okay? And it's a way for them to administer their vacuum and also have it blended in with society as if, it's not happening, okay?
In the case of malaria, into the human body.
Wow. All right. So
and we know that's a tactic. Esau has done this many times, all right, in history, all right? Where he'll his filthy behind, he'll bring plagues, man, with him wherever he goes. He brings plagues. Nowadays, because as the scriptures say, knowledge shall increase. Through his technology, he can manufacture more things, all right, in his secret places, okay, and then bring them forth, and he has done that many times.
The big question is this good? Is this bad? Is it nefarious? Can it be used both ways? And then anytime you start mentioning Bill Gates, and it seems like he is hot on this, we know how hot he is on all the vaccinations, it really starts getting the hairs standing up on the back of my neck. So what is Bill Gates doing here? Should we be concerned about this?
Well, Gates is a funder of many of the universities that are doing this research. So in the November 2024 issue of New England Journal of Medicine, a paper from University of Leiden in the Netherlands took normal human volunteers, and they genetically manipulated the malaria parasite, the falciparum parasite that's in an active liver replication phase. And then they injected it into mosquitoes. The mosquitoes then were raised up. And then the volunteers, listen to this, Grant, the volunteers had to allow themselves to get 50 mosquito bites, 50, 3 different times to be vaccinated against malaria. And then it looked like it was only partial protection in one of the 2 treatment arms.
Stop me if this sounds familiar. Annual shots that offer zero real protection against the so-called disease. All while lining Big Pharma's pockets and wreaking havoc on public health. Welcome to Plandemic 2.0.
Yeah, the hokey pokey.
Future generations will look back in horror at this era. An age where billionaire globalists operated in plain sight.
Look at my man over there to the right. You know who that is.
Plotting to dismantle the world as we know it. Their schemes, driven by greed and power, trample over humanity and every living thing in their path. Take Bill Gates' latest money-spinning hoax. He's planning to chop down millions of trees and bury them to address so-called climate change.
Which we just went into an article dealing with that, talking about the whole process of photosynthesis, CO2 and, all these things, how all these things work into, basically into the earth itself and, also play a part in our lives. But, they have a scheme and agenda against these things, all right? So to, not decommission, but to destroy, I think it's like 70 million trees, okay? To address
it doesn't take a genius to understand that this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Honestly, the elite are just having a laugh at our expense now.
Bill Gates and other investors are betting Kadama Systems can reduce carbon dioxide in the air by chopping down and burying trees, which has raised $6.6 million in seed funding from Bill Gates' Breakthrough Energy
and that's all it's about, money, more money, all right, oppressing the people and, gaining more money, oppressing the people, and through the oppression of the people, they gain more money out of the people, okay? And that's all it's about, all right? Because there's a business in burying the trees, all right, instead of using them for specific reasons, which even Esau, all right, because, of course, trees get chopped down, for the wood and whatnot. All right, there's nothing new about that. But Eve will just chop down trees for the hell of it, all right? They'll level a forest just to build a shopping center, all right, a new mall or something like that, a stadium, okay? And then they'll turn around and get business off of those trees, from the wood or whatnot. Now they want to actually, instead of putting it on the market or doing whatever else with it, they want to just bury the wood. Okay, just take the timber and put it under the earth, man. This man's crazy, man. It's diabolical.
and others. Scientists say burying trees can reduce global warming as well. I don't know where they're finding these scientists, by the way. To help address the problem, the U.S. Forest Services aims to thin out 70 million acres of western forests, mostly in California, over the next decade, extracting more than 1 billion tons of bone-dried biomass. Normally, when you cut down trees, when you're a lumberjack, when you have a lumber company, you're selling the lumber to build.
So let me correct myself, because I did say 70 million trees. It's 70 million acres, all right? Not 70 million trees. That'd be a lot of tree counting. But 70 million acres, which obviously is probably going to cover more than 70 million trees. I'm pretty sure.
houses, people buying from Home Depot or whatever. They're arguing that they want to, rather than sell the timber, take all that wood and just bury it, because they're saying that that is a better solution. And so, in other words, this is a business because they're getting money to create carbon offsets.
Gates is spending money like there's no tomorrow, investing in bizarre carbon offset schemes to create a new scam economy to raise funds for expensive mosquito research in Europe. Meanwhile, in South America, Gates is funding mosquito megafactories, where researchers are perfecting the science of mass-producing tens of millions of GMO mosquitoes, ready to release on an unsuspecting public.
Hi, I'm Scott O'Neill here in Medellin, Colombia today, and I'm at the world's biggest mosquito factory for the World Mosquito Program. We're making in here 30 million mosquitoes a week. Come and have a look. We're doing it for a very serious reason. Cities like Medellin have suffered from diseases like dengue, Zika, chikungunya for decades, but not anymore. We've been able to bring the solution of Wolbachia mosquitoes to this city. When this bacteria called Wolbachia gets introduced into the mosquito, it stops their ability to transmit dengue. We release mosquitoes that have Wolbachia, and then they go and mate, and Wolbachia gets passed into the wild mosquito population.
And you really truly think that they're doing this to help? This is the exact opposite, man. Whatever they're showing you in this video, the true purpose is the exact opposite.
If we're going to control these diseases in all the tropical cities of the world, it's going to require a lot of mosquitoes.
These guys always claiming they're going to save the world, they're going to help the world. And only thing you ever see them do, though, is oppress, all right? Lie, steal, cheat, scheme, backstab, okay, raid and destroy, all right? Murder, all right? MDK, right? Murder, death, kill. It's the only thing you ever see them do, but yet in their speeches, all right, because they had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon, all right? In their speeches, they tell you how they're going to help society and save the world and everything, all right? And I mean, the American people should see this more than anybody, all right? The Americans alone, because look what's happening in America versus what they constantly talk about, all right, with the so-called agendas, all right?
Mosquito life cycle starts with the egg, and in this room, we've got a lot of eggs. Each one of these strips, these tiny black dots, are up to 10,000 mosquito eggs. Across all of these strips, about 1.5 million dried eggs waiting to hatch. In this tray, we've got the newly hatched eggs. They're little larvae, so small you can hardly see them. They're going to sit in here for a few days and eat and get bigger until they look like these ones over here. They're starting to turn into pupae. We're wanting to do the next step of sorting the males from the females. We want to do that so we can manipulate the sex ratio in the cages to be more female than male. The bottom ones along here are the boys, and the ones at the top are the girls. They're bigger. From here, they're going into the adult cages. We have adults that we continuously grow in what we call our brood stock. And then over here, we have the mass-produced mosquitoes getting ready to give us the eggs to go out directly into the field.
And this is what they do. Instead of having a world hunger program, a real one, because they'll say they have things like that, but a real one to, combat world hunger and homelessness and, poverty and all these things. This is what they do with their money. All right. They go into around in their secret places. All right. With, we'll just say vacuums. All right.
It's crazy how they sound. You might wonder, what do we feed all these mosquitoes here? Well, I can tell you, we've got the good stuff in here. On the top shelf, literally, we've got the blood. They love it. Once the mosquitoes are grown, they're ready to go out into the field. The first way is to get the eggs and package them in a gelatin capsule with food. Voila. There's 300 eggs in here and enough food for the mosquitoes to be able to grow. They just need to be dropped in water. The other approach is to take the adults themselves. Here we have 300, and they can be released off the back of a motorbike. Or even packaged into a drone for aerial release.
So there we have it. Gates' GMO mosquitoes released by drones indent urban population centers. Turns out, the so-called conspiracy theorists were right about this one too. RFK Jr. has been sounding the alarm for years about the unelected World Health Czar and his reckless psychopathic behavior. The need to get RFK confirmed as health secretary has never been greater.
And I read an article from the New York Times that Bill Gates had just donated $50 million to Kamala Harris's campaign. And the article said that it was the first donation that he's made in 20 years, that he stayed out of politics, that he's been bipartisan. It was a dark money donation. He didn't intend for it to be public. Do you think Bill Gates made that donation out of a patriotic impulse? Do you think he made it out of a humanitarian impulse? Do you think he made it because he wants global health? Or because he wants to make America healthy again? Well, there was something else, another article about Bill Gates that came out today that said he's just been indicted. He's been indicted in the Netherlands for lying to the public about the COVID vaccine. And he's going to have to go to trial. You think that he wants to go to trial here in the United States of America? You think maybe that's one of the reasons he chose to give $50 million to Kamala Harris?
Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the elites, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel.
And that's pretty much the end of that video. Once he hits that point, it's the end of that video, which means that's also the end of our video. We don't have to read the article because, you know, that's the video right there. So just going into this article here, it was a risky one. So you know where to find me if you don't get a chance to hear it. Obviously, I'm not going to be on this page, but if so, then, you know, it is what it is. All right. Bill Gates develops tech to poke humanity with bird fugazi, mRNA with or without consent. We just, went into the article, seeing how and why. All right. So we'll leave it at that. I'll leave the force, the Lord will. You were edified. To next time, y'all going to say shalom.